The moment my husband said it, I laughed so hard, my tea nearly spilled across the table. "We give her half. My mother deserves it," he declared, pointing at me with a smug grin, like I had no right to even blink. I couldn't believe my ears. My father had just passed away. He owned a $35 million company, and here was my husband, insisting that his own mother take half of what was mine. The audacity, the betrayal, it was almost comical, if it hadn't been so infuriating. If you've ever been blindsided by greed, betrayed by someone you trusted, or underestimated by the people who should protect you, hit subscribe, like this video, and brace yourself. This is a story where justice isn't just served, it's meticulously orchestrated. Let's get into it. My father was a man of discipline, vision, and integrity. He built his company from the ground up. Late nights and countless sacrifices etched into every brick of that business. I had grown up watching him, learning, absorbing the values he lived by. And when he passed, I thought I had the support of the people closest to me, my family, my husband. I was wrong. The conversation began that evening in our living room. The house smelled faintly of my father's cologne and the lingering scent of his leather office chair. My husband, Jonathan, sat across from me, arms crossed, eyes gleaming with a strange mix of ambition and entitlement. "We're giving her half," he said, tapping the table for emphasis. "She deserves it. I don't see why you're holding on to it." I blinked, my chest tightening. "Holding on to it?" I asked slowly, trying to process the audacity. "Jonathan, that's my father's company, not yours. Not your mother's, mine." He laughed, a short, sharp sound that grated on my nerves. "You think just because you're his daughter, you should get everything? She's my mother. She helped me get where I am. She deserves this." My lips curled into a bitter smile. A laugh bubbled up, not from amusement, but from disbelief. The man I had married, the one I had trusted with my life, had just suggested giving away my inheritance to someone who had done nothing for it. My blood boiled. Every nerve in my body screamed at me. But I didn't react immediately. I stayed calm, forcing myself to breathe, to think. That's when the plan began to form. I wasn't going to fight him with anger, no. I would fight him with precision, with strategy, with a slow, sweet execution that would leave him questioning everything he thought he knew about me and about loyalty. I knew Jonathan and his mother well. Their relationship was built on manipulation, flattery, and subtle intimidation. She had always whispered doubts into his ear, making him believe that every decision should favor her, that he owed her everything. That was their weakness, and I intended to exploit it. I started by quietly gathering information, financial records, investments, personal connections, anything that could be used to leverage control over the company. I spoke with our family's lawyers, accountants, and board members, planting subtle suggestions, asking questions and observing. Every detail I learned became another thread in the web I was weaving. Meanwhile, I let Jonathan's arrogance do the work for me. He began openly bragging about how he would secure his mother's share, and the look on my face as he did so. I nodded politely, said nothing, let him believe I was powerless, compliant, even naive. The first strike came months later. Jonathan had convinced his mother to push for a position on the board of directors. I feigned ignorance, allowed her influence to grow, and then, when the company faced a minor crisis, an unexpected legal challenge, her meddling made everything worse. Contracts were delayed, negotiations faltered, and the board began to lose confidence in her judgment. Jonathan was furious, blaming anyone but his mother, unaware that I had subtly guided events to ensure this outcome. The real turning point came when I discovered that Jonathan had been making risky investments with company funds, investments he hadn't even discussed with the board. One misstep, one bad decision, and it could cost the company millions. I started quietly redirecting those investments, ensuring his ventures failed at the worst possible moments. Then, the coup de grace. I introduced a strategic partnership, opportunity to a rival company, a deal that would double our company's profits if handled correctly. Jonathan tried to intervene, trying to manipulate the negotiations in his mother's favor. I let him, and then I quietly secured the agreement on my own terms, ensuring full legal and financial control remained with me. I called Jonathan into my father's office, the very room where he had once tried to assert dominance. I presented the financials, the contracts, the deals, and every decision I had made with precision. I watched as realization dawned on his face. His mother had no control, no power, and the company and the fortune was fully mine. You wanted to give her half? I asked softly, almost casually. Well, she won't be getting a cent, not a single cent. His jaw tightened. He opened his mouth, probably ready to argue, to yell, to threaten, but no words came. He realized he had been outmaneuvered at every turn, that his own greed and overconfidence had blinded him. Jonathan tried to salvage his pride, to regain some semblance of control, but it was too late. The board, lawyers, and even the staff had witnessed the precision, the competence, and the intelligence I had displayed. They respected me. They feared me in a way that commanded obedience without me ever raising my voice. His mother, meanwhile, was furious. She had expected to wield influence, to take what she thought was hers by virtue of manipulation and favoritism. But all her attempts were thwarted. Every argument, every plea, every demand was met with calm authority, unshakable confidence, and strategic foresight. I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I simply watched as they realized their mistake, underestimating me. And the look on Jonathan's face, a mix of humiliation and disbelief, was more satisfying than any financial victory could ever be. Betrayal can hurt, but patience, intelligence, and strategy can heal, and sometimes they can even turn the tables in ways that feel poetic. Justice isn't about revenge for the sake of anger. It's about restoring balance, protecting what's rightfully yours, and proving that underestimation can be dangerous. If this story gave you chills, or reminded you of someone who underestimated you, hit like, subscribe for more stories of cunning, strategy, and justice, and comment below. What would you have done if someone tried to take what was rightfully yours? Your story might be the next one we tell.